I feel like this is the most underwhelming unboxing experience, and I admit that I am being a bit nitpicky here, and rightfully so, because the Venture X comes with a $395 annual fee. So I'm going to air some of my disappointments with the Venture X so far, and don't worry, none of these are detrimental to the Venture X. Let's just agree to call them minor annoyances. When you think about a $395 annual fee credit card, you may expect some effort to be put into the packaging, but you may be in for a little surprise with the Venture X because it comes in this envelope. Yeah, I can't make it up. Now contrast that to the Bilt Rewards Mastercard, which is a no annual fee credit card that came in this box. And actually this box was inside of another box with the Bilt logo on it as well. And I know that the argument may be that this credit card doesn't really come with a welcome offer. So getting a welcome offer over some nice packaging is a much better deal. But remember that this credit card allows you to earn points on rent without having to pay a transaction fee, which happens to be a game changer in the credit card game. But okay, the argument about the lack of a welcome offer is a valid one. However, the last credit card that I received was my Hilton Honors Business credit card, and it came in this envelope. Yes, it's not a box, and yes, I still have the envelope for whatever reason, but at least there's some sort of design to the envelope. It has the American Express written on it. The back of the envelope has this blue ink with the phrase, "Don't do business without it," and it shows that some effort was made to enhance the presentation of the arrival of the credit card. And this is a credit card that just has a $95 annual fee. The Capital One Venture X, not so much. And the problem I have with that is, in my mind, it tells me that I went with the value option, which happens to be true, but I don't need to be reminded of that. Even the Chase Sapphire Reserve comes in an envelope, but that envelope actually has the Chase logo on it. And I believe that the envelope states it's time to explore the Sapphire Reserve or something along those lines. My point is, Capital One could do a little better with the presentation. At least put Capital One on the envelope or simply write, "Welcome to Venture X." It doesn't need to be in a fancy box, but when the targeted mail offers for the Quicksilver credit card looks light years ahead of the delivery packaging for the company's flagship credit card, I think that there are some priorities that need to be reimagined. So okay, the packaging leaves me wanting more and it doesn't tickle my fancy. But after all, the most important thing is the credit card itself. Well, what would you say if the credit card came with a little bit of damage? Yes, that's right, my credit card came with a little bit of damage, and the camera might not pick it up, but it has the smallest little imperfection, and because the card is a beautiful dark blue color, the chip in the painted surface was the first thing I saw, because with it being a metal credit card, that means that the metal surface underneath that painted surface is reflective. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at the credit card and the contents within the envelope. So here's a close look at the envelope. Interesting enough, on the inside, we can see that the Capital One logo is all around, but there's nothing on the outside, which I find to be a very odd choice. So let's go ahead and pull out the contents of the envelope. Now the first page here does have the credit card on it, so let's go ahead and open that up pretty quickly here. And we can see it there, the lovely Venture X. Now on the left side of the page, we have the Welcome to the Venture X, along with options at the bottom to activate your credit card. The design of the credit card is very minimalistic, which is what I prefer. And if you can't tell from the color of my couch, I really like blue, so that's another plus. I think that the blue and the gray provide a really nice contrast on the credit card. Now the back of the credit card has all of the credit card numbers and your security code, which is another plus for me because it declutters the front of the credit card. Now my little gripe about this credit card, and again, I'm not sure if it'll show here on the camera, and I think it does, but it has a very, very small chipped area, which is the blue paint that is being chipped right at the bottom here where my thumb is. You can see the little bit of reflection going on there. Of course, I can live with it, and I most likely won't notice it on my daily use, but I have to point this stuff out for you guys. It actually does suck that the card came this way. So it is what it is. Now moving back to that first page that came in the envelope, once we flip it around, we'll see that the back of the page has some information about the Capital One app. The remaining documents include your guide to benefits, your reward programs, terms and conditions, the Capital One customer agreement, and also this Capital One fact sheet about what they do with your personal information. I do find this to be a very interesting inclusion. Now, usually credit cards include a sheet that shows your credit limit along with the APR. And interesting enough, this sheet was omitted from the packaging. And it has me wondering, is this another cost-cutting measure for the Venture X? Literally a few days after I was approved for the Venture X, news of another nerf came to light, and you all know by now that this one wasn't too bad. In the past, the travel credit came as a statement credit, which allowed cardholders to earn points on that $300 travel purchase, which means that there was a potential to earn up to 3,000 miles on those purchases. And now Capital One essentially made this into a coupon that is applied at checkout, which means that I won't be able to earn miles for that $300 purchase. And even a little bit worse, that $300 coupon won't count toward meeting my minimum spend requirement, which happens to be something that I was planning to do. I kind of understand this nerf because some clever people may have taken advantage of the previous setup to book some sort of refundable travel with the intention of canceling that refundable travel a few months later so that the card could be refunded, and then they essentially get a free $300 from Capital One. Hey, I don't hate the player, I'm just a little upset that I'm a little bit late to the game. Not that I would participate in this because I play by the rules most of the time. So my timing was a little bit off with this one, and it kind of sucks when this happens. So far in my credit card journey, I've done my best to avoid this, but at the end of the day, I'm never going to apply for a credit card just because an elevated welcome offer is available. The only time I apply for new credit cards is if my spending aligns with it, and if there happens to be an elevated welcome offer available at that time, then I'll go for the credit card. And sometimes that elevated offer does fit nicely into my regular spending habits, which would have been the case here with the Venture X. I called Capital One's customer service to find out whether or not they would honor the elevated welcome offer since I missed it by less than a week, and Capital One promised to get back to me within 8 to 10 business days on this request. But they got back to me within 2 to 3 business days. The customer service lady was extremely nice and went over the details of my request before I was given a resounding no. She was very apologetic about the situation, but in a nutshell, Capital One couldn't honor the 90,000 mile offer due to the specific terms of that particular agreement with that welcome offer. I was searching the internet a bit, and apparently the link may not have been meant to be public, so for that reason I'm not going to publish it in this video. If you do happen to find it, then good for you and go for it and apply quietly. If not, then feel free to use my referral link to support the channel. Just note that you'll end up with 15,000 less miles of a welcome offer. Now for the positive. I mentioned a few disappointing things in this video, and I want to balance this out a bit. After all, the Venture X is a really good premium travel credit card that still pays for itself if you are someone who travels. My intention with getting this credit card was to simply obtain value from purchasing flights to my home country every year. Since the travel credit is $300 and tickets to my hometown is around $300, that made the Venture X a no-brainer in my mind because I'll have a premium travel credit card that fits extremely well into my wallet. Another positive is that the Venture X gives you the option to use virtual card numbers prior to the arrival of your credit card. I admit that I totally missed this one because it wasn't as straightforward as I'd like for it to be. For example, Amex makes it extremely obvious right after your credit card application is approved when you are eligible for virtual card numbers. With Capital One, I only found out after I opened the Capital One app to activate my credit card, so I was completely surprised to see this option appear on my screen. Third, this card will credit me $100 for global entry, which is something that I really want. I just paid for TSA PreCheck due to my travels to Vegas for the creator meetup, and I will say having TSA PreCheck and clear saved my butt with making my flight on time on Labor Day. I've never seen a TSA line so long so early in the morning, and I would have been screwed. Fourth, the Venture X came right on time. Upon approval, I was promised that my card would be delivered within 3 business days, and on the 3rd business day, there was a FedEx envelope on my doorstep with the Venture X on the inside. Fifth, although I didn't like that my credit card came with the smallest imperfection, I really do like the design of the Venture X. It is minimalistic, sleek, and doesn't try to do too much, like the Chase Sapphire Reserve, for example, in my opinion. That gives it more of a premium appearance in my book. Lastly, having access to lounges is a fun idea, but if you can't tell from my previous comment, I don't typically arrive to the airport early, so much so that I had to have this tag on my luggage. The walk of shame, folks, the walk of shame. Anyway, this was a bit of a different unboxing type of video, so if you liked it and you made it this far into the video, don't forget to drop a like for the YouTube algorithm and to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more videos like this from me. If you're interested in the application process for the Venture X, then feel free to watch this video next. As always, thanks so much for making it to the end, so come on over, get your high five.